We've had an order, we still have an order. It's messy, it's imperfect, has a lot of room for betterment. The world is heading towards greater multipolarity.
There has to be a reform of the UN, and particularly a reform of the UN Security Council. Do you think that that is a more viable or a more likely outcome?
All said and done, we've had an order, we still have an order. It's messy, it's imperfect, it has a lot of room for betterment, but it's still there, you know. We've seen that change happening. I mean, at one level, some parts of it have been very gradual and progressive, but the last 5 years, there have been a series of shocks which have accelerated that. I think COVID was a shock. The conflict in Ukraine was a shock. What's happening in the Middle East was a shock. So, even in Europe, some years ago, Brexit was a shock. Now the change in the stance of the United States, I think, as the most powerful country, and the rise of China and the impact that it's had on international systems and practices. I think all of this, it's like it's building, and suddenly the cumulative impact of that is hitting us all. We are today, it's not, I know the last year has been a very dramatic year, but I would still argue it's not just last year. It's really been building over the last decade, particularly over the last 5 years. And we don't have an answer. I mean, what we are seeing is the impact of it on the international system. And now we are saying, okay, how does it take the shock? What will happen? It will take time. But to the extent I can give you a kind of an analytical concept to deal with it, I would say, its world is heading towards greater multipolarity, that there will be many more independent or autonomous centers of decision-making. Probably the most interesting for many of us is Europe, because we have seen, in some ways, a sort of a strategic reawakening of Europe in the last few years. So what Europe does with itself, how does Europe relate to others, is very important. So this, in that context for us, when we looked at all the big polls, I think the one which was most under-realized was our relationship with Europe.